What's up, guys? So, Monday show, and what a great Monday, especially after that beautiful Lakers championship win yesterday. I was so excited that I totally forgot to comb my hair. Left the house, went to UPS and everything. And I was like, man, what's going on with the hair? And yeah, it was a great championship win, 17th overall for the Lakers. But we're not here to talk Lakers talk, we're here to talk business. And 2019 versus 2020, has your business grown? A couple of questions to ask yourself because 2020, everything that's been going on, a rough year. If your business has grown, you've seen improvement. I don't care if it's a small amount, huge amount, middle amount, whatever you want to call it. As long as you've seen some sort of improvement, you have to pat yourself on the back. I mean, everything that's going on right now is huge. There's so many people that have lost their business, lost their jobs. It's been sad, and we don't even know what's left of the year. We have 2.5 months left of this year, and you want to go out on top with your business, but at the same time, you want to take care of your family. You want to stay healthy. So you have those type of things kind of coming up that's out of your control too. I mean, you can do what you can, but we don't know what's going to happen. And so what I was doing was just going through my percentages and seeing how my sales have changed. I'm talking about eBay only. So the first thing I want to do is just go month by month, comparing 2019 to 2020, starting off with January, and what changed, throughout the year. That some of the comparisons and some of the numbers that we can look at. And I also want to talk about the rest of the year. What can we expect? What can we, I don't know, somewhat semi predict that may happen? Talking more about Black Friday, some of the Q4 stuff. And lastly, a little bit about taxes. I know we don't really want to talk about it and think about it, but it is coming up quick. You probably have already been paying quarterly. I have, but that's one of the things I have to look at also with last year's numbers. How much did I pay? How much more did I make this year? How much should I be paying for the next one that's coming up, which is usually around my birthday? I think January is the next one. I think I had the numbers here. Yeah, 15th, January 15th, 2021 is the next estimated tax for 2020 that is due. So usually right after Q4, I'm trying to figure out and crunch the numbers already and be prepared because I don't want to lose, time in the next year already and lose out on sales and inventory and everything. So I try to knock out the taxes as soon as I can. So comparison, let's look at this. I'm not going to show you anything. You're just purely listening. So you can listen while you drive, while you source, while you list items. And I'm going to start off with January. So January 2020 compared to 2019. And my sales were down 19.6%. And I had a great Q4. A lot of the sales that did sell as far as like retro Jordans and all of that did sell well on Stockx more than GOAT and eBay. But as far as eBay goes, down 19.6%. So you can go through your numbers, go through your seller side on eBay. You can check all of this comparing last year to this year and really see the progress that you've made. February, down 2.1%. So I did go up in sales only by like $600, but we're still down 2.1%. Comparing the last 2 years or last year. Now, March came around, we jumped 6.4% up compared to 2019. So when you're really thinking about March, what happened? The virus really started to come into play to where we really didn't know what was going to happen. Stimulus checks also, people were kind of getting ready for that. People buying random stuff they didn't really need. I think in general, March was probably better for most people. And then we also started to see stores closing down. So like Ross, Burlington, Marshalls, those type of things. So that did come into play. So March was up, and then April down 22%. Now I'm talking about eBay only, not GOAT, not StockX, purely eBay. Down 22% compared to 2019, April was pretty rough now that I look at all the numbers. So we went down, down, up, and then down for April. Going into May, we jumped up 48%, and we're up. That one was, well, yeah, 48.1%. We were up, let me see, was gonna say we're up by like a couple of $100, 700. No, we're up way more than that. We're up by like $3,000, roughly compared to April. So up that month. I'm trying to think what really changed in May, and nothing I could really think of. I think stores started to open maybe late May, so that might have helped. Now going into June, we jumped up 119%. Now during this time, stores started to open up again. I know I had that jersey haul that we talked about. We had a video on it from fans. That helped out. Ross had the clearance finds. Burlington had those clearance finds when they just reopened as well. So a lot of those items were starting to sell. We jumped up probably around the same thing, a little bit over $5,000 more in sales that month for June. July jumped up big time, 354%. That's a huge amount. We had a couple of $1,000 sale days, and that one did well. Why? I believe during this time, I started to go back and talk more, figure out more with bulk buying. And the person that I do the bulk buying with did lose some contacts and stuff like that he was selling before because of the virus, and people that have gotten out of buying and selling those type of items. It did open up an opportunity for me, and so I mean that helped. But at the same time, with all the craziness that's still going on, it was kind of like I don't know, double-edged sword. It's like, all right, cool, this is helping business wise, but at the same time, people are getting sick. I know El Paso numbers also were going up, and so this time we did go up 300%. The following month for August, we went up 42%. So numbers still going up, which is great. So that definitely helped us out. And then finally, September, the highest we've had for the entire year. We went up 500%. More bulk inventory coming in. I wasn't just purely relying on Ross, Marshalls, Burlington finds. Now I can combine those finds with the bulk buying, and we went up big time. And in this month, last month, there was 5 or 6, looks like $1,200 days. Only 3 days out of that month where I had less than $500 in sales for that one day. So all the other days were over $500 every single day for that month. September was awesome. October is looking good as well, and just trying to keep that momentum going into November, December, which we know is going to be huge. So my thing is, go to your eBay, see how you're doing, percentage wise, numbers wise. Are you growing? Have you been growing for this entire year? And if you haven't, what are some of the things you can change? And what are some of the things that affected you besides the virus out there? Could it have been capital? Could it have been lack of inventory? Maybe when stores were closed, it was tough for you to get inventory. Maybe Nike Outlet, because I know those rules definitely changed. I wasn't even sourcing as much Nike Outlet anymore because of those rules and them not getting any new inventory. And that was pretty rough. Now it looks like they're starting to come back, which is good. But it was bad for at least like 2 months. So, and if you did well, and you're continually growing, then I would say, round of applause, pat yourself on the back, and figure out what you can do to keep that momentum up going into this last 2 months and into next year. So now let's talk about the rest of the year, though. We have November, we have December. And speaking of Nike Outlet, I did talk to a couple of workers there. Hey, what's going to happen for Black Friday? I know that's like the busiest time. We have lines out of control, out of the door, and they're going to be closed for Thanksgiving. which I think that's great for them, their families. They can rest and they don't have to worry about all the mayhem that happens for Black Friday. But the next day, I do believe they are going to open early. They did not tell me what type of sale they're going to have. Previously, we've seen 30% off the entire store, 40% off the entire store. For the most part, they raise up prices, so it kind of evens out. But we always know it's like crazy time for them. The thing they're worried about is limiting how many people inside the store at once. When they first opened, they were crazy about this. And I think it was only 10 people can go in at one time at my Nike outlet. And now they're allowing 65, 75 people in at once. So how are they going to change that for Black Friday, assuming the stores are going to be packed? I don't believe it's going to be anything like years before. It was already kind of going downhill last year. A lot of people weren't really out there buying like they normally do. A lot of stores having sales, starting off on that Monday leading into Thanksgiving. So they already had some of the sales so that they could eliminate these huge crowds. And now, with the combination of the virus possibly going up, with the numbers possibly going up, because people not really knowing, do they have flu? Do they have the virus? What's the difference between both? Because the weather coming into play and being cold, you're kind of battling and you don't really know which one you do have. You're going to stay home, try to rest. And I think that's going to lead to more online buying in general. So for us that sell online, that's where we got to get all of our inventory up and running, make sure everything is listed, make sure everything is double checked and on multiple platforms so that something does sell, you can immediately take it off, or maybe you can have those replenishments that you have on both or 3, 4 platforms, however many you're selling on, and you have that ready to go. So my prediction, I would say, for the next 2.5 months is that the weather's going to get colder. We're going to see numbers go up. I don't believe they're going to close us down again. I think we've already seen those, or those days are behind us as far as closing everything. But I do think they are going to be strict as far as like how many people in the store at once. You're going to see those numbers, I believe, go down. Not just for that Nike outlet or those stores, Ross, Burlington, Marshalls, and all of that. Because you also don't want 50 people, 80 people in line waiting for an hour just to check out. And so they're going to have to figure out some way to keep not only their employees safe, but the customers safe and everybody else that's involved with that. So I think it's going to happen. And I believe online sales, Amazon, eBay, Stockx, Go, Poshmark, Mercari, all of them are going to see heavy traffic and go up in sales and numbers. People are going to be buying Christmas gifts a lot earlier now, not rushing last minute and getting whatever they can. They'd rather just stay home and stay safe and not go out there and risk being in a crowd. All right, last thing, talking about taxes. And so if you guys saw on the live show, we had trouble, what was it, last month with my computer. And I've had this computer, it was like a late 2015 model iMac. Used it for the live shows, and it was starting to give out. I have to do a lot of editing on here for YouTube, and I was like, man, the days are limited for this computer. It lasted me quite, I guess, many, many years. But I was like, do I really want to get a new one? And looking at my expenses compared to last year, me and the B did a lot of traveling. And whenever we go travel, looking for inventory, filming for Out Hustled, I can write those off for my expenses for, the hotels, for the plane tickets, for anything that's involved with sourcing out of town. Since it's straight to the business and my channel, I can write those off for my expenses. But in this case, I haven't been going anywhere. We went somewhere in the beginning of the year to talk about Out Hustle, to figure everything out and plan it all out, and nothing ended up happening. So I guess I would say, it was perfect timing for the computer to go out. It was a big expense there, so I paid roughly, I did get a little bit better iMac this time. Hopefully it lasts a little bit longer. So that with a new hard drive and new printer, things like that, I just like, you know what, let's get it all right now. So paid a little bit over 4,000 for everything, and I can, expense for the business, and definitely a huge difference on the way the live shows have been working. Nothing has been lagging. The editing has been a lot quicker too. So it has definitely helped me business wise for a new computer. But I want you to go through and see what are some expenses and maybe some things. If you haven't been spending money on your business, you should, because we only have 2.5 months left. And if your expenses are low and tax time comes around, it's like, well, what have you really done to grow the business and put that extra money in? I'd rather you use that for your business than to pay a bunch in taxes when you can use it to grow. So I would double check those three things. Number one, compare your numbers. How are you for the year? What have you done? What can you still do with the 2.5 months left? Rest of the year, get that planned out. How can you get more inventory? How have stores been? Do you have a system in place that you can get more inventory up for the next 2.5 months? And then the taxes, getting all your numbers prepared, getting that ready, and also looking at your expenses and getting ready for 2021. We want to get out of this year, and we want to definitely grow for 2021. All right, so that was it for the live show. Just some things I've been thinking about when it came to the numbers and comparing 2019 to 2020. Hopefully you enjoyed this. And if any questions, any comments, you can go ahead and do that on the channel, and we can read those and talk about it more on the Wednesday's live show. Remember, tagging me on anything Jordan this month. I am giving away a Jordan 1 high. So tag me anything Jordan, Ross, Burlington, Marshalls, and the first 8 people are going to be in for the giveaway this week. So thanks guys for watching and or listening, and we'll see you on Wednesday live show.